You are Locked On Celtics POSTCAST, part of Locked On Sports Boston, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well, you'll certainly take that and run with it as the Boston Celtics open up a 4-game road trip. Martin Luther King Day for the Celtics in San Francisco against the depleted Warriors. And once again, the Celtics able to avoid a second straight loss. They thumped the Warriors. One thing for certain, Golden State, not the team that they used to be. Celtics big third quarter, most of their starters, JB, JT, KP, all on the bench as spectators in the fourth quarter. You're right where you need to be. You are locked on with the latest Locked On Celtics postcast. I'm Steve Lennox, longtime college basketball play-by-play announcer, former national show host on ESPN Radio and satellite radio. We are providing reaction to every Celtics game on the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel, as well as the Locked On Celtics podcast feed, is free and available wherever you get your podcasts. And with our latest Locked On Celtics postcast, we're going to discuss the Celtics getting their road trip off on a positive start. Lots to like with the victory against, again, the depleted Golden State Warriors. Celtics, again, able to avoid a second straight loss. Still have not lost 2 in a row on 2 occasions this year. Just once so far this season where they've lost 2 straight games. Celtics shooting lights out in the third quarter. Again, 3 of the 5 starters did not play in the fourth. We do want to hear from you, our everydayers and our first-timers. Join the conversation. If you're watching live on the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel, hit the comment button. Join the Celtics conversation. You can follow us on the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel. You can also give a follow on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Lennox on Hoops. This episode of the Locked On Celtics postcast brought to you by Prize Picks. Now is the perfect time to join. Download the app today. Use code LOCKEDONNBA, and with that, you'll get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. That's right. No need to win to get that bonus. It is guaranteed. Prize Picks, run your game. So the Celtics playing the Golden State Warriors and looking for a series split against Golden State after the Warriors beat the Celtics in Boston earlier in the regular season. Celtics get exactly that, a split of the season series. We get to your comments in just a moment. If you're with us on the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel, again, as always, we do appreciate you being on board with us. The Celtics, Steph Curry's in the lineup, available prior to the game, was questionable coming in with a sprained ankle, but no Draymond Green, no Kuminga, no Anderson. He doesn't play as much as he used to, and no Podzimski as well. All out. Celtics healthy. Horford, Kristaps Porzingis, both back in the lineup. And the Celtics knocking down 5 threes in the first quarter, up by 11 after 1. Golden State, ice cold to start. And you wanted to keep it that way, and the Celtics did. I don't know if it was the Celtics D. Part of it was. It's not always 50-50. It's not always that strong in one direction or the other. But the Celtics defended, and the Warriors just couldn't hit shots. 1 of 12 on the three-point line in the first quarter, 7 of 25 overall. And the Celtics, 14-1 run to close out the first quarter, and then just kept going in the second. Up by 15 at the half, led by 19 during that second quarter. And the Celtics, 4 for 25 combined on the three-point line in the second quarter. So it didn't really get any better for Golden State in that second quarter. Tatum had a dunk in the second quarter, game on TNT. Love Brian Anderson and Reggie Miller together. Dennis Scott on the sideline. How about Dennis Scott and Reggie Miller talking about the abundance of three-pointers taken today? Imagine either one of those guys in the current NBA with the freedom to take even more threes. But after a Tatum dunk in the second quarter, Brian Anderson, quote, Boston continues its dominance here. And that's all you wanted. The Warriors had a drought of almost 7 minutes without a field goal. That carried over from the first quarter into the second quarter. Porzingis had 12 at the half, and the Celtics bench, big in the fourth quarter because they got extended minutes, but the Celtics bench 14 points in the first half as well. Mentioned Porzingis 12. Tatum had 5 in each of the first quarters and was in double figures. Andrew Wiggins, not what he used to be. 0 for 8 And 0 for 3, 2 points from the line in the first 24 minutes. And Ernie Johnson, again, going back to TNT, do this usually. We'll mention every once in a while Drew Carter, Brian Scalabrine, our first NBC Sports Boston reference. I've already given the first TNT reference. Here's a second Ernie Johnson, TNT in the studio. Fourth time this season that the Warriors were held below 40 points in a half. They were 3 of 24 on the three-point line in the first 24 minutes. So the Celtics, again, double-digit lead, up by 15 at the start of the third quarter. Celtics scoring 43 points in that third quarter and basically putting the game away. Led 97-63, up 34 going to the fourth quarter. Now, Holiday and White, Derek White, Drew Holiday, both on the court to start the fourth quarter. Both played almost 4 minutes, but that was it. They were done for the night. Celtics scored 10 of the first 15 points in the fourth quarter. Hauser, off the bench, scored 5 in that stretch, up by 39, and the Celtics just cruised to the victory. And, something really I think they just needed. Been a while. They've had blowouts over the course of the season, but they pick up the blowout win. Strong start to the trip, positive start to the trip. Again, poor shooting by Golden State. They're not the team that they used to be. Steph Curry, and they talked about it both on the play-by-play broadcast and also in studio. What do the Warriors do going forward? They mentioned the name Mike Dunleavy Jr. I've crossed paths with Mike Dunleavy in the past, working Quinnipiac basketball, his younger brother, Baker Dunleavy, who's now back at Villanova. Mike, a terrific guy, now in charge of what's going on in Golden State. I wish him all the best, but there are going to be some decisions to make here. Remember, in terms of salary cap, this team has paid some money over the years. But how do they regroup? I don't know who was in studio, but it seemed like Kenny Smith, Shaquille O'Neal, Charles Barkley, all were disagreeing with each other as to how the Golden State Warriors go forward. Yeah, it's easy to say, build through the draft. Okay, so are you going to try to be top 5 in a lottery team here going forward with Steph Curry? Does Curry end up? I mean, he's gotten older. Is he old right now? No, because he can still fill it up. Start of the third quarter, you're thinking, don't let Steph Curry get going. I was also thinking, how long does Steve Kerr go with Steph Curry as well? He never really got going. Got some points, had, I think, back-to-back layups in the first half at one point. But during that stretch where there was a long scoring drought, first quarter into the second quarter, he was on the bench. Other guys on the team could not score. I mentioned Wiggins' numbers in the first half as well. Let's get into the comments. Andrew the GOAT. Andrew, am I mistaken, or has it been a while since you've been with us? You may have been with us on the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel, but I think it's been a while since you've actually chimed in with a comment. Welcome back. There you go. As a Warriors fan, that game was pathetic. The Warriors should be ashamed of themselves the way they played tonight. Andrew the GOAT, you bring up a great point for me. Martin Luther King Day. Still a handful of weeks. I know, there's some people out there, the etiquette, don't wish anybody Happy New Year's at this point in time as we're into 2025. I mean, next week we're going to be into February. We're going to be at the All-Star break soon, which, by the way, is in San Francisco. But I was thinking about it over the course of the game. Today's a big day for the NBA, Martin Luther King Day. Celebrated for many years. I mentioned the other day there was an anniversary, the Trent Tucker game, Bulls, Knicks, Madison Square Garden. And anytime I bring this up, I mention and thank you to Peter Vesey. Not only got my mom and I tickets for that game, the Trent Tucker game where he hit the game-winning shot with a tenth of a second left on the clock, also got in the Bulls locker room that day with Peter Vesey. Met Jordan, met a couple of the other Bulls as well. But I'm just thinking to myself, Andrew, to your point, there were holiday presents. Hey, we've got tickets for Celtics Warriors come January in San Francisco. Great. How many young kids were there in an NBA arena for the first time ever, and they saw that? A 40-point blowout by the road team over the Warriors. I don't like using the word pathetic, but in terms of quality product and what was on the floor overall, it wasn't pretty. That's not a good product. Not a good product right now for the Warriors. Not a good product for the NBA when the road team comes in and drills you by 40. Again, players out of the lineup. And I did have this thought. Actually, you know what? I'll save my thought on Draymond Green for segment number 2. The real Darrell. Good win by the Celtics, absolutely. Love the use of the mid-range and post. Darrell, you and I are right there, buddy. We're right there. The mid-range game. You know, as the analytics and the front office people say we don't want the mid-range game, it can be so effective sometimes, especially when you're a team like the Celtics, where they're just not expecting it. Now, Porzingis got off to a great start. I cringe sometimes when Porzingis knocks down his first 3 attempt of the game. But overall, Porzingis had a strong game. Got inside. I think he had the mismatch on Curry in the first half. Hit the shot. Got fouled as well. Sorry, but that was terrible loss by the Warriors tonight. Andrew putting, how long is Steph Curry going to put up with it? His comments were interesting earlier. Do you sacrifice the future for trying to add something now and adding what's going to be more money? I don't think they do. I don't know that they do it. 30-13, the real Darrell. That's the Celtics record now. Celtics will be fine. No need to panic. Darrell, people have been panicking for weeks now. 8-8 coming into this one. 500 over the previous 16 games. And the narrative, and I was hoping that Brian Anderson and Reggie Miller especially would have gone deeper. You know, they hit on Payton Pritchard, likely, you know, 6th man of the year candidate, we'll call him right now. You know, the dog days of what the NBA season is before that All-Star break, all the different things about the Celtics. They didn't really expound on much. I would have liked to have had that, especially Brian Anderson was on recently on a Celtics game, and I'm not knocking them at all, but I just wish there was more than just glossing over the issues with the Celtics. But the real Darrell, people have been panicking for a while. People expect this team right now to have, you know, the same number of losses as the Cleveland Cavaliers. And I still believe Cleveland comes back to earth a little bit. 6-game difference right now, not necessarily thinking about number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference, but I do think Cleveland's going to hit the wall themselves at a little point. Maybe, you know, lose a 4 out of 5. And maybe during that stretch, the Celtics sort of get back in and make things interesting. One more from Andrew the GOAT. As a Warriors fan, you guys got a lucky win because no Draymond Green and no Jonathan Kuminga. I don't go that far with a lucky win. No, you won by 40. It was a non-compete. It wasn't competitive after the half. I mean, it was a double-digit lead. It was 15 at the half. Now, if the Warriors in that first 4 minutes had gotten, you know, below 10, different story. But the Celtics didn't allow that to happen in that third quarter. Antoine Walker would love playing in today's. There you go. He can take all the threes he wants and not get criticized by the media. The real Darrell, you made me chuckle right there. Appreciate that one. Frite Nola. Hope I got that right. Maybe we lay off Hauser a little bit. You know, again, during the stretch of going 500 in an extended period of time of over 16 games and, you know, happening before the holidays, everyone's going to take a hit. Everyone's going to take a hit at some point in time or another. And the bench is a big part of this team being 500 over the last, now 9-8 over the last 17, but 500 through a 16-game stretch. The bench was not as productive as it's been. Thought on Draymond Green. More on the Celtics win. Numbers of the night. That's coming up a little bit later on in segment number 3 as well. But the Celtics open up their 4-game trip, winning by 40. By 40 against the Golden State Warriors. Again, the Warriors, just not the team that they used to be. And we are glad you are with us on the Locked On Celtics postcast, Locked On Sports Boston, your team every day, presented by Prize Picks. Basketball season heating up. No better way to get real money action while watching your favorite NBA teams and their stars than with Prize Picks. Whether you're a diehard fan or just love some friendly competition, Prize Picks makes it fun and easy to turn your basketball knowledge into cash. Here's how it works. All you do is pick more or less. Pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Think LeBron's going to drop 30? Hopefully he doesn't do that Thursday against the Celtics. Or maybe Luka's getting more than 8 assists. Luka's been out of the lineup. Not sure if he's going to be back against the Celtics on Saturday. I'm seeing that as doubtful right now. Prize Picks lets you make your predictions and put your money where your mouth is just in 60 seconds. With Prize Picks Flex Play option, even if one of your picks does not hit, you can still double your money. Plus, once you hit, you get your money fast. Sometimes as quick as 15 minutes. Prize Picks is the best way to keep the game exciting. Now is the perfect time to join. Download the app today. Use code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. That's right. No need to win to get that bonus. It is guaranteed. Prize Picks, you know it. Prize Picks, run your game. So the Celtics absolutely handle the Golden State Warriors. Updating some numbers of the night coming up in segment number 3. I think we got a couple of good ones and very much indicative of how the Celtics won this game, 125-85 against the Warriors, winning by 40, led by 45. Let's get into the bench play. Let's get into the fourth quarter because it seemed like everyone was throwing up shots. I mentioned White and Drew Holiday getting time on the floor in the fourth quarter, both playing 356. But you had Jaylen Brown, Kristaps Porzingis, and Jayson Tatum, all spectators. None of the three played. And, part of that theme is, okay, well, they've got the back-to-back coming against the Clippers and Lakers. Clippers playing better basketball. And now right in the thick of things in the Western Conference, the Lakers, hey, you go in and win Wednesday against the Clippers. You're in the same town. You're in L.A., but you're playing in 2 different arenas. Luke Cornett did a terrific job, scoring 4 points in the fourth quarter. 5 points for Hauser. Mentioned 10-5 run to start. Again, not letting Golden State even getting close. As a head coach in the NBA, you commit to putting your guys on the bench to start the fourth quarter. You are hopeful. You are absolutely hopeful that they are not going to have to come back in the game. Baylor Shireman off the bench, knocking down a couple of shots, including a 3-pointer. Pritchard played almost 6 minutes in that fourth quarter. Again, rotation guy, one of the main guys off the bench, but ended up playing almost 6 minutes in that fourth quarter. Springer got 6:22 off the bench. That's the name you're hearing about, the potential. He would be one of the guys in any potential deal before the February trade deadline. Reading about his name more and more. Cada got 6:22 in that quarter as well for the Celtics. So, again, just overall picking up the victory. It's exactly what you needed to get this trip off on the right start. It's one of those wins for me as expected, simply because you want to come out of there and just be able to, again, rest starters. 43 points in that third quarter. Mentioned I was going to talk about Draymond Green. Had it earlier in the day on Monday. Saw that Green was out. I think he was ruled out even on Sunday. But just for some reason, I thought to myself, on Monday, I'm glad Draymond Green is out. Because Green brings drama. Green brings physical play where all of a sudden you get frustrated. Not like Dennis Rodman used to be in the NBA, but kind of close, whether he's talking or grabbing, and you just didn't get involved with anything like that because he wasn't on the floor. Now, I hope he comes back. Maybe Green's a guy who gets moved from this team. Again, the money, all the things have to, make sense for another team. But he certainly could bring you an awful lot. I mean, you can say what you want about Draymond Green, and he's had an outstanding NBA career, big part of their championships. Earlier this season, willing to come off the bench for the betterment of the Warriors. That's Draymond Green. That's part of his history in the NBA. Willing to do what is needed for the team. Did it. Wasn't always the main scorer. Could have been a triple-double guy on some nights. He would have the rebounds and assists and not the points to reach a triple-double or a double-double. Rebounds, assists during those great days for the Golden State Warriors. If somebody picked him up, to me, and again, I have no idea if this is even part of it, but if Green somehow was moved before the deadline or even next offseason as the Golden State Warriors map out what they're doing for the future, man, he helps a team. He absolutely would help any NBA team. Back to the comments we go again. You want to join us? If you're with us on the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel, join the conversation. The Real Darrell. It is easy to see how teams are playing Boston. Continue to attack from the mid-range down and get some easy buckets in transition. Yeah, that's one of the things against the Celtics. Points in the paint and also fast break points. Remember, the other night they had 15 fast break points in the game against Atlanta, 21 total for the game, 6 points on the fast break the rest of the way. Yeah, just find easier ways to make buckets. And there were stretches where it was ugly, where they just, the three-pointers, everyone was launching three-pointers. And again, the Warriors are a high-volume three team, just like the Celtics. The numbers that they put up. The Celtics, 43 points and 8 threes in that third quarter. Gave you my thoughts on Draymond Green. Andrew the GOAT, time for the Warriors to hit the panic button. Panic button, and here's the point that they made during the broadcast, and I've mentioned it, both conferences, 4 through 9, 4 through 10, Golden State entered, same record as the Phoenix Suns, but both playing for that, just to be in the play-in tournament. You win a couple of games in a row, and they alluded to it on the TNT broadcast. You go on a stretch now, and they had won 2 in a row coming into this. Granted, one of the games was against the Wizards, so I don't know how much. It counts as a win. But if the Warriors go on a stretch where they win 5 of 6, they could be right in the middle of the pack. They could be in that 4-5 matchup in the West. That's how bundled it is and how close it is, 4 through 9, 4 through 10 in the NBA. Now you have the play-in tournament, and I'd want nothing to do with the play-in tournament. If you end up being 6, 7, 8, 9, if you're that 16 and you miss out on that 5 seed, I don't want anything to do with that play-in tournament if I'm an NBA team. And we've done this now for a handful of years as well. Again, Celtics pick up the victory, 43 points in the third quarter. We're going to touch on that. We did touch on the bench in the fourth quarter, doing the job and getting it done. And Joe Mazzulla, 3 of the starters, did not play in the fourth quarter. That's not only big going into the Clippers and Lakers back-to-back Wednesday, Thursday. That's big over you could say over the next the next week or so in terms of games. That could be big against the Mavericks in Dallas on Saturday. That's how much of an effect not playing the fourth quarter could have on the Celtics. Am I making too much of it? Maybe. But again, it could have a positive effect going forward, not just for Wednesday, Thursday with the back-to-back, but even into the weekend when you're on. And this is a road trip where it's 4 games in 6 days, then you're back home. So this isn't stretched out. You're not on the road for a long period of time, basically a week. We've got a couple of other road trips on this. This is 7 of 9 on the road, 2 games at home, and then you're going right back out on the road for 3 more after this current stretch as well. But this is you win 1. Now you're saying, okay, we want 3 out of 4 on this. You beat the Clippers on Wednesday. I almost want a 4-0 road trip. We'll see how it plays out. Numbers of the night coming up next. Got more comments? They've been great so far. Keep them coming. Steve Lennox with you. Locked On Celtics Postcast, part of the Locked On Sports Boston Network. And we are presented by FanDuel. Hey, you know what goes on with FanDuel. FanDuel right now. As you know, from the first whistle to the final drive, FanDuel makes the NFL playoffs even more exciting. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win your first bet. Again, that's $300 to keep the action going. $300 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. The FanDuel app is easy to navigate, and the variety of bets keeps every game exciting. Plus, when you win, you get paid instantly. No waiting around for your winnings, whether you're betting on your favorite team or just looking to add more excitement and some more excitement to the playoffs. FanDuel has you covered. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. Get started with $300 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com. Make this playoff season unforgettable with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Numbers of the night in just a moment as the Celtics pick up the victory on the road against the Golden State Warriors. Winning by 40, that's one thing. But just the way they took care of business a 20-point win would have felt good against the Golden State Warriors. Not allowing them any breathing room in the second half. That's what I loved about the Celtics victory from Monday night on Martin Luther King Day. Overall for the Celtics, in terms of the scoring, Hauser 11, Pritchard 14 off the bench. Love that. Tatum dropped 22, also had 9 rebounds, 7 assists. Kristaps Porzingis 18. Jaylen Brown 8 of 14 from the field. You like that shooting percentage from Jaylen Brown. His percentages overall this season down. He had 17 in the victory as well. So the Celtics closed out the first quarter on a 14-1 run and just went from there. So numbers of the night. Celtics whip back, and I have this right. Celtics 43-point third quarter. 9th time this season where the Celtics have scored 40 or more points in a quarter. The most points in a quarter, I'm going to bring that up and have that here in just a moment. But 9th time this year, 40 or more points in a quarter. Celtics 11-0 now when holding the opposing team under 100 points. There's some point, there's like an internal alarm for me. And it was at the start of the fourth quarter. And Warriors had a long way to go to get to the century mark. And they didn't even get close. But the Celtics now 11-0, 11 victories this season where they have held the opponent below 100 points. 34 assists. I always like that number. 30 or more assists for the Celtics, that equals success. 34 assists, great number. Sharing the basketball. 11 times this season, Celtics 30 or more assists in a game. Got to 23s as well. Reggie Miller had it late. I think it was Hauser who knocked down a 3. And I have no problem with the Celtics taking threes in the fourth quarter. Again, bench guys getting out there, getting a run. But Golden State, their guys coming off the bench, they were relentless. They got the ball. They were putting it up. But the Celtics now 14-1 on the season when hitting 20 or more threes. So, again, positive numbers. Those are some of the numbers that you saw basically through Thanksgiving and even into December as well before they hit that 8-8 stretch over 16 games. Now 9 wins over their last 17. One more from the real Darrell. How close? How does this road trip end in your opinion? Darrell, the real Darrell, I think I had mentioned it just a few moments ago. You get the Clippers on Wednesday in Los Angeles. Right now, winning the first one against Golden State, I want 3-1. Even before the Warriors game, I wanted 3-1 on this trip. Thinking, okay, it comes down to Dallas. I'm looking forward to this entire road trip for the real Darrell and others, but I'm really looking forward to the game on Saturday. I don't believe Luka's going to be involved. Kyrie saw his numbers the other night, put up big numbers, played, I think, 40-plus minutes, dealing with a bulging disc. I'm not sure. I mean, he had a short stint where he didn't play. I thought he would, when he had that injury a few weeks ago, I thought there's no way he's going to play the Celtics game this upcoming Saturday in Dallas. He's been back. You always want to see Kyrie against the Celtics. I'll take 3-1. Win on Wednesday. I'm thinking 4-0. Am I looking past the Lakers on Thursday? I shouldn't be, but I kind of feel like I am. For me, I'll say it out loud. JJ Redick can't lose enough in Los Angeles. I said it. Okay? I said it. It is what it is. Mentioned the 43 points, part of numbers of the night in this segment here. 43 points in the third quarter, 9th time 40 or more this year. How about the Celtics in the first meeting with the LA Clippers? We're up next Wednesday. Clippers home later tonight against the Bulls in Los Angeles. Beat the Lakers by 14 on Sunday. Right now, the Clippers 24-17. They've won 4 in a row, 5 of 7. So right now, they are the number 5 seed in the West. Celtics by 32 over the Clippers in late November, and I believe that was the back end and the second game of a back-to-back for the Celtics. That was the debut as well for KP, for the season debut for Porzingis against the Clippers back in late November. Celtics in that win against LA, 22 threes, and they put up a season-high 51 points in the second quarter, knocked down 12 threes in the second, which tied a franchise record, or actually established a franchise record, and tied an NBA record as well. Celtics in their 43-point third quarter against the Golden State Warriors Monday in San Francisco, knocking down 8 threes. opened up the game. And again, lopsided victory for the Celtics as they knock off the Golden State Warriors and earn a split. Both teams winning on the road. Go figure. 4th straight year, Warriors and Celtics have split the season series. One more, the real Darrell. All right, I thought we had one more there. Andrew the GOAT, did I get to you? Okay. All right. So back at it Wednesday. We are late night on the East Coast, and we are into Thursday internationally as well. So we hope you're on board with us on the Locked On Celtics and Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel. We'll be on within minutes of the final buzzer for Wednesday's game against the Clippers, and the same on Thursday with the Lakers and Celtics. I want to call it the Staples Center. I know it's not the Staples Center anymore. As always, we do thank you for making the Locked On Celtics podcast with John Corrales and the Locked On Celtics postcast your first listen every day, free and available wherever you get your podcasts. And also join us on the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel as we go live after Wednesday's game within minutes of the final buzzer for the Celtics and Clippers, the final meeting of the regular season between the two teams. Locked On Sports Boston, number one place to hang out immediately after every game. Locked On Sports, your team every day. Celtics win on the road on Martin Luther King Day against the Golden State Warriors and win big in San Francisco.